Hello everyone and welcome back to Rag Plays, Aidyn Chronicles the First Mage. Before we get started playing the game proper today, I feel I need to have a bit of a conversation with you guys. I've been doing some thinking and I've come to the conclusion, perhaps erroneously, that I've done a rather poor job of explaining why exactly I chose Aidyn Chronicles as my first game to Let's Play. This kind of came to my attention when I was talking to a friend of mine about how I was planning to start a Let's Play channel, and how I was thinking about doing Aidyn Chronicles as my first one. Being the smarmy bastard that he is, he replied with something along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm sure that will entertain all 7 people who like Aidyn Chronicles." Now, I know he was just being snarky because we had actually played the game in tandem before over Vent, and he really liked it, but it did get me thinking, why am I doing this? Well, one of the main reasons, as I'd mentioned before, is just how familiar this game is to me. I used to know it like the back of my hand to the point where I did completionist runs of it. Strangely, I was rather proud of that back in the day. It was like I was in on a secret that few other people knew or something. I remember many a lunch break in middle school talking to my friends about how great the game was and trying to convince them to give it a go, though I didn't really have much success on that front. I think what really clicked with me in Aidyn was just how good the story was. It really wasn't like anything I'd ever seen before, in that it was much more personal than other fantasy games at the time. It wasn't really about saving the world from an ancient evil or rescuing a princess in a tower. It was really more about just staying alive. More than this I won't say, as the LP is currently ongoing, but suffice it to say, it's pretty damn good. Or at least, I think so anyway. It's hard to explain exactly what Aidyn feels like or felt like at the time. I suppose most people would probably say, well, Aidyn is a high fantasy game. Well, no, it's not exactly. Some people might say it feels like a dark fantasy, and they're not wrong. Then you may have other people who get more of a low fantasy vibe from it, and they're right to some degree as well. Aidyn is all of these things, yet none of them. It's a game that feels dark thematically, yet it never loses any of its color or sense of humor. It's a game that's very bright and cheerful in visual appearance, but there are sections of it that are just very melancholy, somber. Just listen to the music that's playing now. It's something else. So it has a good ambience to it. Also, when you read through the lore and go through the dialogue, you get the feeling that there's a lot of kind of dark and evil shit that goes on in Aidyn on a day-to-day basis. The land is it's a very fractured place, full of unknowns and lots of villains and lots of monsters around every corner. And adding to that is just the massive size of the game. I think this game must be at least half the size of Morrowind on a system that really, I don't know how they managed to cram all that onto one cartridge, but kudos to H2O and THQ for making a massive game compared to anything else on the Nintendo 64. Like, coming off of Zelda Ocarina of Time as a kid, and being fascinated by all things medieval, knights and castles and dragons and all those fantastic things, I was just blown away by how much there was to explore and how much there was to discover in every nook and cranny of just one small area, from the start of the forest to the bridge where we are now in the LP. Aidyn was really the first game that scratched that particular itch for me. Zelda had kindled the fire, but this poured gasoline all over it. And yeah, looking at it now, it may be kind of hard to imagine what was so special about it when a game as highly regarded as, say, Morrowind was released pretty much 1 year later. I think a lot of it was due to how the actual exploration was done and how the loot was laid out within the levels that made it special to me. In Morrowind, there was always a sort of logic in the placement of treasure. If you went down a dungeon, you'd find a magic sword. If you swam into a cave, you'd find a chest of gold. I think the issue with that is, and this is just my opinion, guys, the accumulation of wealth becomes too predictable when it's designed that way. You know there's going to be something there because it's there. Where in Aidyn, sometimes a cave is just a cave, and sometimes the best item is lying under a random pine tree. And I completely understand how that could maybe be seen as a design flaw to some people, when there's no context for an item to be where it is. Like, why are there a bunch of chests and bags of gold randomly littered throughout the forest? Who knows? For me, I may get the feeling that maybe a merchant caravan was waylaid by monsters and this is what's left of it. Or you may get the feeling that maybe a knight died there and this was what he was wearing at the time. At this point in gaming, you really had to use your imagination a lot more to kind of fill in the blanks because, as I said before, the cartridges of the Nintendo 64 were not capable of holding that much data. What was on here was really, I imagine that this game in particular pushed it to the limit because what was on here was just huge. There's just so much in it. So that's pretty much why I chose Aidyn Chronicles as my first game to Let's Play. I still feel like I have a lot to say about the game, and I will certainly continue to do so as the LP goes on, but for now, I guess I'll just end by saying that while I realize this may not be a very popular series at all, I'm not really in this for the views. I'm playing the game because I really like it, and I really feel that it deserves to be shown off. And you know, not everyone will see what makes this game special, but the right people will. So I don't think it's a bad choice at all, and I think it's going to be very successful, and I hope you all enjoy the journey right along with me. Okay, let's get back to the game proper. That was a little bit rambly. Sorry about that, guys. I felt like I needed to explain a bit more about my feelings. Let's get on the road to Guardia. What does the sign say? To Guardia. Right on. It's the way we want to be going. Whoa! And we have a guard, by the looks. I'm over here. Aileron, at last! The king is beside himself with worry. He knows I was gone? Of course he knows, squire. You've been gone several days. Where have you been? I was ambushed by goblins. They poisoned me, but Oriana helped me. She couldn't cure the poison, though. Poisoned? Curse those foul goblins. That woman in the woods helped you out, you say? I'm not so sure I trust her. How do you know she didn't make things worse? She didn't. Besides, I'm sure I would know if she tried anything. If you say so. I'm telling you, she helped me. Yes, I believe you. We've been scouring the woods looking for you while you've been visiting crazy old ladies. I guess she's harmless enough. In any case, the king wants you back at the castle right away. So stick to the road and don't dawdle, or Abrican will have you hide. Did you hear me? Yes, don't worry. We'll all stop worrying once you get back to the castle in one piece. I'll run ahead and alert everyone in Guardia. Maybe someone can check on that poison for you. Okay. Good, now don't delay. So, we have, anything over here? We have met a guard and he's telling us to get back, so we shall probably do just that. There's no reason to delay, and we have a rat. Oh joy, more rats and bats in the forest. 3 rats this time. There's our new saber, which looks more like a falchion, the Clooney falchion, as I later confirmed. He's holding it upside down, still. At least the blade looks like that anyway, I'm not sure. The hilt assembly is not quite correct. Let's go around back of this rat and see if we can get a critical hit. Ooh, that's a nice sound. Nice little crunch. Steel on spine action. Hold that R button, block, yes. And again, thin the ranks. Giant rat killed. Block. Yes. Block. Yes. Doing good. You're both in the front, and I can't really move anywhere, so you. I'm not quite sure whether I should edit these sections out, guys, of the battles. I don't think I'm going to, because this is intended to be an Iron Man Let's Play, so how would you ever know if I died if I edited these out? There will be times that I do edit some of my speech down, or if I stumble over my words or something like that when I'm talking. I did quite a bit of editing in that little vlog there that I just did at the start of this episode, because I felt the need to tell you guys kind of how I felt about the game in a concise manner, and I'm not the best at that. I get very rambly, and I feel like I was still pretty rambly overall, but I did what I could with it, and I hope it's okay. So we get 450 XP and nothing. That's alright. Looks like we're getting in at about 4 o'clock, really. Wow. It gets dark early in Aidyn, that's one thing I'll say. 5 o'clock now. We don't want to go up there. We need to follow this road, but there's some special loot over here that I think we should get while we're around. I can't remember where exactly. I think it's in this field, perhaps? Ah, there it is. What's in here? 1 whole herb and 15 gold. Well, it could be worse. No, I want to take them. I don't want to leave them. Now we'll leave that closed. So we're approaching the homestead of Kendall, and perhaps we should find his wife, because we have some grim news. Yes, we will do that. Maybe she is in the fields. Who is this? Is this a farmhand? Hello, friend. Fine day, isn't it? What's been going on in the forest? Now look here, if something's happened, not only do I not know about it, I'm also sure it wasn't my fault. I see. Well, that's very helpful. Do you have anything else to say? Hello, friend. Fine day, isn't it? What's been going on in the forest? Same thing, huh? Alright, so... yeah, let's, maybe... anything in these barrels. Press A all around. No dice, huh? Alright, let's go inside and see if Kendall's wife is in and give her the bad news. She is not in at the moment. Rather meager dwelling. Now she's gonna get on without him, really. Pretty sure there's a chest over by this bat. We'll go fight him. 2 bats. Alright. They're gonna get all kinds of turns because I believe bats are nocturnal in this game. So they should get bonuses if they're fighting at night. Actually, no, that's not true, because... never mind. Ignore everything that I said. I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. There we go. Party is victorious. 150 XP and nothing else. Well, we need the experience points if we ever plan on, is that same guy, or is that a... we don't want to go that way. That's dangerous. Now, there's a chest somewhere in this field, on the corner of it, I believe. Is it over here? Yes, there it is. I'm gonna drop a quick save here. Not a quick save, a regular save. Because we've talked to some people, we don't want to... Alright, let's see what we got in the box here. A healing potion, 10 herbs, 5 spice, and no gold. Alright, that's all good stuff. I hear footsteps. That aren't my own. Thought I heard footsteps anyway. There we are. And there's the castle. We can see it from here, part of it anyway. Beyond the point of disappearing. That pop-in. And there's a rat. Let's deal with the rat first. Gotta see how we can phrase this lightly. Hopefully she She doesn't take the news. Well, of course she's going to take the news terrible. Wow, that was a good hit. Wow, really good damage. That's excellent. Now, I guess I should take a moment to explain how leveling works in this game briefly. There are no real level ups per se. You gain levels. Not to say that you don't, but when you gain a level, really all that increases is your HP. This game has a kind of really fun system of like point buy almost, where experience is used to buy directly into leveling things up. Like if I click this, for instance, I don't have the XP to train it right now, but I can do this at any time on my own. I can train my own skills. So after any battle that we get a bunch of XP, I can dump it into, say, willpower or dexterity or whatever. I can also do the same thing with skills. I can't afford to right now. But, and I can also do the same with spells. I can train strength up right now, but I'm not going to. So all that makes for a really nice leveling experience where you get to pick your stuff when you want it and when you need it, versus having to grind up to level just to be able to manage things. So there's that. And of course, you can also train skills at trainers in towns, and I believe that reduces the XP cost, but it adds onto it a gold cost. So if you have more money than XP, which eventually we will have money, there's a point in the game where money becomes very, very common. But that's quite a ways off. We'll be using trainers at that point to train our skills instead of ourselves. But until then, see what we get. We get nothing. But we have defeated yet another villainous creature. Ah, there's spice over here. Knew there was something else. It's always welcome, 20 spice. That's a lot of materials. Where was Kendall's wife? There she is. Okay, so here goes. Can you help me, miss? Certainly, the goblins are just around the bend. They can't wait to see you again. How do you know about that? I just want to know if I'm anywhere near the castle. Have you washed yourself lately, my boy? You smell like that stuff goblins put on their knives. Okay, thanks anyway. This is not Kendall's wife. This is some other woman. Perhaps another farmhand or a servant? So, there's a rat here. We'll fight him as well. Three rats, or two rats, in fact. Let's dispatch them with haste. Don't really need to focus fire at this point. I do like the battle music in this game quite a bit. It's got a nice kind of Roman drum beat to it almost. Like you'd get on a rowing ship or a military march. Ow. Little bastard. There. Wrong one, I don't care. 2 attacks, right on. Let's hold our R button, see if that makes a difference. It seems to. I still don't know whether that's a thing. 300 XP, and 2 beast hides, woo! More crafting materials. I guess now is as good a time as any to actually talk about how Alaron, I suppose, would be feeling. Is that castle in full view in the distance? Your footsteps, it's just her. About his feelings after coming out of the forest, but not with this music playing. Let's go back up here, closer to the forest. Yeah, I guess we can take this time to actually talk about how he's felt like from the beginning, where he went into the woods looking for his friend Kendall, and stumbling upon his hat and concluding or coming to the coming to the worst possible conclusion that Kendall had been slain, which it was in fact confirmed by Oriana later on when we were awoken inside of her hut after being attacked by goblins. I'd imagine more so than anything, more so than the goblin attack, the poison, he would have been most startled by the spirit he had saw, and I imagine that would have led to a very, very sleepless night and a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes no matter where he went. I imagine that that feeling will persist until he gets back to Guardia proper, because I mean, seeing a ghost in a forest is very terrifying, whether that was Kendall or something else entirely, who can say, but Aileron would have been shaken, I'd imagine, from that, and very much looking forward to getting home to the safety of the castle. So, with that aside, he would have also very much been grateful to Oriana for saving him after the goblin poison took effect, though despite the fact she could not heal him. And coming back, perhaps looking for Kendall's body, and then stumbling upon a burnt-out village where I'm sure he would have felt that, aside from the fact that a lot of people must have died there, something inherently did not feel right about that place. Almost as if there was a hole there, like something was missing or lost. And definitely a great sense of foreboding and just a very dark feeling over that entire abandoned town, where we had learned that goblins had since returned to take up residence in the ruins, which is very distressing. So yes, indeed, getting back to the castle will be our top priority, and I think we will go and do that now. I'm pretty sure there's a chest over here. Yes, there is. 50 gold pieces, not bad. Okay, we're approaching the area of extremely annoying music. I thought there was a chest up here. There is not a chest up here. Let's walk under here. A bat. Once we get into Guardia, we'll probably end the episode. We will fight you. Wow, there's a lot of you. Good XP, though. Ow. Alright, jeez. Why don't you have some of your own medicine? Yikes. A lot of them are swarming us here. So this is what happens when there's more than 4 enemies. Only 4 can be in the battlefield at a time against your 4 party members, but they can have reinforcements up to 12, I believe. So, avoid the attack. And I'll use a healing potion if I need to here, but I think we'll be alright. They're just bats, so... The enemy variety gets to be a lot more interesting later on in the game. That's a one-hit kill, that's nice. But for now, it's rats and bats for a little while until we get out of Guardia and on the road, which I will not spoil now. But we will be leaving this area. Not soon, but fairly soon. Just flee? No, a reinforcement joined. Good. 2 of them fled already just from me killing one of them. That's very unusual. If we could get a turn, that would be great. And of course we miss. It's nighttime, so we're set combat at night. That is something I can confirm. And they're fleeing. We're not going to let them flee. There's no fleeing. There's no getting away. No. Can we actually catch them? We're not going to be able to catch them. That's alright. I think it still gives us full value for killing them. Maybe. And he's gone. Let me get another attack in. No. It's a bummer. 4 out of 6 fled before our might. We are doing fantastic and getting very little for our troubles. So let's continue along the beach. There's the town, there's the castle. We're almost there. And some really annoying music. Perhaps the worst in the game is the music of Guardia. But that will end once we get into the castle. The reason why I avoided this section of the road, by the way, is I seem to recall a wolf patrolling along there, which would have been nice to see, but would have seriously jeopardized our safety at the start of the game with so little resources and not very good equipment. But here we are. We get in at about 2 in the morning, by the looks of it, on a foggy, hazy night, basically, summer night. I believe it's spring, in fact, maybe May. Is there anything over here? No. So this will be the point where we leave off. I know we didn't make a whole lot of progress between here and there, but I think this is a good stopping point, guys. So I will see you next time on Rag Plays Aidyn Chronicles the First Mage. Thank you all for joining me.